Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, May 29th. This is Sarah Ross, Program Manager from Erie County Economic Development Corporation. You can tell we've been doing these Zoom meetings and webinars for a while. We're all getting more and more comfortable with showing up right on time. So we start a minute later each week. But thank you for joining us. It continues to be uncertain times where a lot changes. But yet a lot stays the same. So we just want to all get on the same page. Again, remind you of your local resources and contacts. So we're doing these webinars a little bit less frequently now, but we are here and we'll kind of talk about next steps after these webinars with you a little bit today. So I'm gonna kick us off with what's changed. We'll hear from Abby Schwanger with the Health Department as always. And then we have Amber and Tina joining us from Ohio Means Jobs, Erie County. They'll tell you a little bit about some of the workforce resources they have and what's going on with benefits right now. And then Abby, our executive director, is going to give you a few updates from our office. Just some housekeeping items. This meeting is being recorded, and so we'll share the link after if you miss anything. If we talk about any resources or contact information, we'll share those afterwards as well. And then we encourage you to use the Q&A feature on your Zoom panel to chat in your questions. We'll get to as many as we can, and we've received a few in advance as well. So again, use the Q&A feature if you have any questions, and we'll get to those as we go. So first up, like I said, things are changing on a daily basis, and at this point, many of our businesses have reopened or at least have their reopening date set. Again, it's still important to remember you have to abide by the sector-specific operating requirements. And as you see over here on the right, we do expect to hear about the rest of the businesses, including entertainment and recreation, that haven't yet reopened. We expect to hear about that next week. So stay tuned again for more updates. Some other news that came out this week, the Lieutenant Governor's Tech Cred program, which came out late last year. It's this workforce training grant, basically, for technology credentials. There have been updates to that program, and a new round is going to open up on June 1st. So the big update here is you don't have to name the employee that would receive the technology credential when you apply. So that's current or incoming employee. You can get grants to cover their technology credentials. So I encourage you to check out all the information on that. Many regional area businesses have already received that in the earlier rounds. And we can connect you with one of them if you have questions about it. Bureau of Workers' Compensation is deferring payments as well as distributing masks if you're a part of their system. We've shared links on that. Big news, if you have received the PPP loan, the SBA and Treasury did release the directions for forgiveness as well as the application. We posted that on our Facebook just yesterday, so the link is right there. You can go and check that out. And then Jobs Ohio is offering a liquor rebate program. We've also sent out information about that. Another thing I don't have listed here, but I think it's a really great opportunity for local businesses. BCSN is offering a promotional video package. They will film and produce a video for your company for $250. You get to keep the video to share, and they will also help you in distribution of the video. So that's a pretty great, affordable local marketing tool that I'd encourage you to look into. That's all from me. I will hand it over to Abby now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so she can share, and I will catch up on the chats and Q&A.
All right, thank you. So I'm Abby, as she mentioned. I'm the Public Information Officer and the Director of Community Health at the Erie County Health Department. So I just want to give you a very quick update today. So as of May 29th, we have a total of 156 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Erie County. We also have 9 probable cases, so for a total of 165. We've had 35 hospitalizations, and as of this morning, we have had a total of 14 deaths. As you can see, when I was updating these numbers today, we've had a pretty big spike in the last 2 weeks or so. And as I'm sure you've seen in the news, it has to do with an outbreak that has occurred at the Ohio Veterans Home, which we're working very closely with the Ohio Veterans Home, and they're doing a wonderful job. We've done a great deal of testing there. We continue to do follow-up testing to, mitigate the spread of the virus in that long-term care facility. But of course, it's everybody's worst nightmare. It's what we had worked for so long to prevent from happening. But it is unfortunately the case. As you can see again here, this shows those spike in cases here as we did a large amount of testing. Right here we did mid-May about 1,000 tests in one day. We sent over a staff of 30 people, and they spent 12 hours just going through it and swabbing all of their staff and all of their residents. And so that's why we got that big spike there. But of course, we follow up with all of those cases and all cases in Erie County and do the contact tracing, which involves identifying who the close contacts are, household contacts, and quarantining those individuals to stop the spread of the virus. By race, that has started to become slightly more representative of our county, but not quite. We still are very much skewing towards the African American population in Erie County. As you can see, they make up over 30% of the cases, whereas African Americans are only about 9 or 10% of the population of Erie County. So they are disproportionately represented in COVID-19 cases, but still 50% of our cases are white. We're at 53.8% male, about 46% female in those cases. We're still very strongly in the Sandusky area, which makes sense. That's where the most of the population in Erie County resides, is in Sandusky, so that 44870 area code. About 78% of our cases have not been hospitalized. They've been able to recover at home, and 21.8% have been hospitalized. By age, that is starting to even out and become more representative of what we're seeing throughout the rest of the country as well. The outbreak at the Ohio Veterans Home, of course, has made the age bracket go up a little bit higher. We were skewing very young in the 20 to 40 age range, but we are seeing more older adults with COVID-19 cases. And this is a statistic that we've recently started reporting. It's not the easiest one to track, but people are often asking what percentage of individuals have recovered, what percentage of cases are active. And so as of Wednesday, when these case statistics were released, 48% of our cases in Erie County have recovered. So just almost half of our cases have recovered, 7% have unfortunately passed away, and 44% of those cases are still active, and they're still ill and considered infectious. One of the big things I really wanted to discuss and make sure that everybody is aware of is that we do have a huge community testing event coming up. And so Erie County is working to put on this event. Starts tomorrow. And there's still time to register. We still have appointments available through the end of next week, through Saturday the 6th. And so we're offering PCR and antibody testing. PCR is the one that goes into the nose, and it can tell if you currently have the virus. And the antibody testing is actually a blood draw from the arm, and that tells if you have been infected with the virus in the past. I will note that the PCR testing, it's not the swab that's inserted like 6 inches into your face and feels like they're poking your brain. It's actually only inserted into the nostril. So I had it done last week. It's very comfortable. It's not the uncomfortable one that you might have seen online. I saw it, and the picture made me uncomfortable. But this one is much better. And then again, the antibody testing with the blood draw from the arm. And so if you want to register, like I said, there are appointments that are still available. If you go to covid-eriohio.com, you can go on there, you can pick which type of testing you want and register. If you put in your insurance information, that allows us to bill your insurance. We don't do balance billing. And so if your insurance doesn't cover it, that's fine. It's still no out-of-pocket cost to you. We would never not bill you for that. And so that's all covered by us. But if we do bill insurance, that allows us to be able to extend our funding as much as possible and to test as many people as possible. So again, you must live or work in Erie County and we'll get you tested for no out-of-pocket cost. If you have any more information, so you can go to this covid-eriohio.com website to register for testing. That's also where our dashboard is. So that very first slide that you saw, that has our dashboard with our current case numbers. It's updated multiple times a day. And so that's going to be your most current information on case numbers. It's more up to date than the Ohio Department of Health website. So if you want really local information, go to that website. And there's also resources for businesses. If you click on the business tab, we have a lot of the resources. There's printable signs and things that you can use for your business, guidance, educational documents, all the information that you need. Our sanitarians are working really, really hard. They're going out every day and working with our businesses. And so, of course, if you have any questions, if you're already working with a particular sanitarian that inspects your business, you can, of course, always just call them and ask them your question. Or you can call this 567-867-3243 and ask your question. They can direct you to our environmental health division to help you with that guidance. So that is all that I have.
Thank you, Abby. If anyone has questions for the health department, she'll be on, but chat them in now. We did get a question that asks, what is required to be posted? I think they mean in the workplace. Are there any specific requirements as to what kind of posters?
So I'm not, honestly, I'm not sure because it really depends on what business, what sector you're in. So it's really going to be something that is so specified based on the business, the circumstance, the situation, that you're going to have to work with the health department directly with one of our sanitarians to figure out exactly what is going to be required for that specific business.
Great, thank you. Another specific question. We're hearing that one-man music shows with audiences no more than 50 and no dancing are allowed in Erie County. Can you confirm that, or do you have any information?
So I can't give you any specific information because I would have to confirm with environmental health. The last I heard was that something along those lines, yes, that as long as the proper social distancing measures were in place, that they thought that would be okay. I'm not going to say go ahead, so then, I'm not going to be on the hook for that. Just make sure you run it by the environmental health division. If you're familiar with Craig Ward, you can call our health department. His extension 118. He has a lot of good information. Again, you can call the number that was just on the screen. It's 567-867-3243, and they can help provide more guidance as well about that. But one of the things we know is that the louder somebody's talking, singing, projecting their voice, we have seen greater transmission. And so again, that's why that part of the reason that they have limited performances and large groups, because large groups you're more likely to be yelling or speaking in a much louder voice, and so it creates more droplets. And so we do have to be very careful about that, make sure we're social distancing. We've maybe all seen that graphic of the choir practice where one symptomatic person went to a choir practice of 87 people, and 60 of them or so, more than that, ended up getting sick and getting COVID-19 because there was something about the singing, and it was creating more droplets. And it's very, very infectious. So it's important to remember the virus is still there. It's still very, very dangerous, and we still need to be smart. We can open up. We can, go back to living our lives, but we just have to make sure that we're being careful because outbreaks aren't good for business either.
Thank you. That's great. We have a couple people asking about signs, and another participant, Missy from North Shore Running Store. chatted in that she's been open for 3 weeks now. She's got stickers on the windows and floors. And Laura's Printing did a really nice job for her with design and printing. So any other resources that people want to share for what they've done for signage, just chat them in and we'll share them with the whole community. So thank you, Missy. Great, so we'll keep you on for maybe questions at the end if something else comes up, Abby, but now we'll hand it over to Amber and Tina from Ohio Means Jobs, Erie County.
Hi, this is Tina Krieger. I am the Deputy Director of Income Maintenance and Ohio Means Jobs. And I just wanted to take this time to introduce myself as well as share that the Erie County Department of Job and Family Services lobby remains closed through June. We will reevaluate what July will look like, and upon opening, there will be practice changes that will be occurring that will work with the public to understand what will be needed in order to come to our building. At this time, that has not been fully established. Our executive director is working on what that's going to look like moving forward. Now I'm going to turn it over to Amber Jenkins. She's the supervisor of the Ohio Means Jobs store here in Erie County. Amber?
Hi, everyone. So kind of to go off of what Tina was talking about, our Ohio Means Jobs is located in our lobby of JFS, so that will also remain closed for right now, but we have started taking one-on-one appointments. So if anybody needs job searching or to come in and to use the computers, unemployment assistance, anything like that, they can call and make an appointment and we can get them in to try to help them as best as possible.
That number that they can call is 419-627-4475, and that is Kelly Spihar, and she is working in the OMJ resource room and has been doing that all along.
Kelly has been working a lot with answering unemployment questions. We have been getting a lot of them rolling in since all of this. Basically, the two main things that we get a lot of employer questions on are the FMLA leave and unemployment, and employees who basically can telework, receive any kind of sick pay, any leave where they're actually getting paid, they won't be eligible for the unemployment. Also the furlough, we get a lot of questions on that. Basically, anytime you're furloughed and say even just your hours are cut, you can apply for the unemployment. Now, if the unemployment denies you, you can always apply for the pandemic unemployment assistance. So if you furlough employees, they can still get those benefits. Even if their hours are just decreased for the week, they can still apply for those benefits. So those are the two big questions that we get a lot. Also, as far as the Ohio restart, all employers are encouraged that anytime they call an employee back to work and the employee for some reason says they cannot come back or they just don't want to because the assistance that they are receiving through unemployment and pandemic unemployment is more than what they would receive at work, those employers are encouraged to please reach out to the state and report those employees. Ohio law prohibits any individuals from receiving the unemployment benefits if they refuse to accept offers or suitable work or quit a job without good cause. To do this, you can go to the unemployment.ohio.gov/employer, and then you would click on the report COVID-19 work refusals. We've had a few people actually reach out to us already on this issue, wanting to report these employees because a lot of times they don't want to come back to work because they are on all of these benefits right now and they would like to stay home and continue to get those. Also, if any employer has questions that we cannot help them with here, there is a specific employer email for any questions that you have with unemployment assistance. And that email is uctech@jfs.ohio.gov. So any questions that you might have on any unemployment or your employees receiving the unemployment. If we can't answer it here for you, we will either reach out to them for you or you can reach out to them too. With that, so we have a lot of resources here that we can help employers with. The first thing that we have is the on-the-job training program. And that is basically where you would hire an employee, you train the employee, and then we would reimburse you for some of that training amount. So this may help when you are opening things back up and you need to hire new employees and you just need some extra money for their training to get them working. Employers are reimbursed 50% of the wages earned or up to $8,000 per eligible new employee. The training period for the employees can be up to 6 months. With this program, the employer has to apply for eligibility first. So basically, when the employer applies, we are just looking for things such as, do you have workers' comp coverage? Do you have anybody currently laid off? The OJT funds will not be used to assist, promote, or deter union organizations. And then after the employer is approved, then we have to look and see if the employee is eligible. Let me see here. The employee has to be at the 250% federal poverty level, and that is for their whole household size. So if they meet those qualifications and the employer meets the qualifications, please reach out to us because we have this money here for everyone to use, and we would love to help people get back up and running without spending a whole lot of training costs. The other program that we have here is the Incumbent Worker Training Program. And this program helps employees upskill to get higher positions. And then that will open up those lower level positions so that you can hire in more people to there. So what we would do is we reimburse 33% of the training costs, or up to $4,000. This is anything we can help with: curriculum development, instructor fees, textbooks, tuition fees, anything like that. A lot of the targeted industries, and these are just a few of them, there's a lot of them out there, but there's advanced manufacturing, aerospace, automotive techs, manufacturing, biohealth, energy, things like that. We can help get employees trained to get higher positions within your company. And then also, don't forget about the Shared Work Ohio program. That is to help employers. They have come and they've said that they will help employers hire back after the COVID-19. So basically what this program was is it was a voluntary layoff aversion program, but with the COVID-19, they're now saying that they will help hire people back too. So what you would need to do with that is the employer will cut the employee's hours in half, and then it's kind of like an unemployment, and they will pay the rest of the employee's wages to make up for what they're getting only in half their hours. So if you want to apply for that, that is something that can be applied for at jfs.ohio.gov/sharedworksohio. And they have money out there to help you get back up and running. So please utilize that as well. Here at Ohio Means Jobs, every quarter we do a business services meeting to kind of go over all of the new programs, new grants that we have. So if anybody is interested in joining those meetings, just reach out to me and I will get you added to that. Basically, it's kind of like a round table. If you have anything to say or to update about your business as well, we will give you the opportunity to speak. As part of our rapid response programs here, I have been scheduling to go out to local businesses to hand out like flyers and resources for employees. So if anybody is interested in that and wants more resources on hand for their employees, please let me know and I will schedule a time to come out and bring some stuff to you. Also, I forgot to mention with our daycare program. So this weekend, our daycares are opening back up. We have been reaching out to all of our current people who are on daycare assistance, asking them to call and get us updated. We have this program here where we can help people pay for their daycare. So if you get an employee who says they just can't afford daycare assistance, please have them reach out to us because we have funding here for that to help them. All daycare providers are listed on Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, and they are trying to get on there updated when each daycare will open and how many children they will allow. They haven't done it yet, but they are working on it, so hopefully they will get that back up and running. So if you do have employees who just need that assistance and that's one of the reasons why they can't come back to work, please have them reach out to us. We will send them an application and see if they're eligible for that. Tina, do you have anything else?
Somebody had asked a question about what if the employee does not want to return to work due to a compromised immune system. We have been getting quite a few questions about that, and I have not personally had any guidance. Have you, Amber?
No.
That's something that we'd have to look into for you, and we can get that information to Abby or Sarah, and they can push it out to you. It's also important to note that while Ohio unemployment refers people to Ohio Means Jobs, they really never gave us any access to any of their, actually they gave us no assistance as far as assisting the community or access to their systems. So Kelly Spehar has done an excellent job in making contacts at the Ohio Department of Unemployment and people that actually answer the phone for her. So we've been able to help our community through that and just through obtaining all the various information from community members that are very frustrated with the unemployment system. I know that the Director Hall had said that we're down to about 7.8% of applications that are remaining in pending mode. But if you're one of those 7.8%, it's very frustrating. Director Hall did state that once these individuals are processed and if approved, then they will receive the backdated unemployment because that is funds that was due to them. So if they were to, let's say, get called back to work and their application was still pending, then that would continue through the process. And if they are approved, then they will still get that money even though they have returned to work. So that's where we're at right now.
Thank you. It's all a lot to navigate right now, and we really appreciate those relationships that you guys have built. So I did chat in all that contact information that they referred to, including Kelly, and so you should see that in your chats. I'm getting a question here. Give me a second to read it. Yeah, so more questions about the individuals who are concerned about keeping their family members safe, and that's prohibiting them from return to work. So we're going to get more information on that, and we're hearing that the state is supposed to be releasing a policy on this, on what circumstances individuals can stay on unemployment or would have to come off. So we haven't heard exactly when that's going to be released, but if anyone has more information on that, please share, and we'll definitely share in a business briefing as soon as a policy like that comes out. Yes, and then we're chatting in more of the links on the emails of where to report individuals that are refusing to return to work. So that's all in the chat. Any other questions for Amber and Tina? We really appreciate them coming in today and helping us try to navigate the complications, but then also provide that information on those grants. So we'll get with Amber and Tina to maybe get a written summary or flyer on those couple grants that they discussed, so we can share that via email as well. Okay, if no other questions, I will turn it over to Abby from our office to go ahead and give our economic update.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
You want to advance a slide?
This is Tina again. Just Abby.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tina.
Abby. We just wanted to take one more opportunity to let all of your participants know that omjec.org is our Ohio Means Jobs Erie County website. We did just revamp that and repost information and links on there under the employer tab that may be beneficial to the individuals and the companies on this Zoom meeting today.
Thank you. We'll include that in the follow-up information as well, Tina. Very good. So, you know, as Sarah said when she kicked us off, all of a sudden, here we are at the end of May. Lots of news about new businesses opening up in our area. So in thinking about the information that we're providing to you all on these discussions, you know, we've gone from a period of a lot of shutdowns to a period of reopening, hence Amber and Tina graciously joining us today to talk about rehiring. We thought it would be helpful to just take a quick pause and share a couple observations as to what we're seeing in the economy, and hopefully get some input from all of you as participants as to how we can continue supporting your business, our local economy in a recovery mode. Sarah, if you would click the next slide for me. So being in economics, we wanted to share a few numbers with you. The unemployment claims are, of course, a resource or a metric that is used as a barometer for the health of an economy. We wanted to share some information of sort of what we've seen locally. And I think the good news is that when you think about this pandemic and its impact, I've sort of been using the phrase that the bleeding has stopped. So what you see on the left-hand side of your screen are initial unemployment claims by county in our sort of Northeast Ohio region. And you'll notice a downward trajectory there. So that's certainly what we'd like to see. That's true of initial unemployment claims. That's true of continuing unemployment claims. So consequently, on the right-hand side, you see that unemployment rates are falling. Now, these are very early estimates. Generally, we're only publishing county unemployment rates on a monthly basis. So this is sort of back of the napkin math that we worked with to get you these numbers. And you do see that, you know, sort of historic tremendous peaks in weekly unemployment rates. So we saw at times up to 25%. You've seen headlines about the Great Depression being at 26%. So certainly an event of magnitude that we've not seen in a very, very long time. So a lot of individuals hurting, but what of course, being an optimist about the economy, what I want you to take away is, again, a downward trajectory in those rates. So we saw a quick spike in unemployment, but we are also seeing a quick downward trend. So in the months of April to May, you know, we might have gone to a peak of 25% in some areas. We're also quickly falling, and some of the surrounding counties almost to 10, 12%. So that's, you know, a 6 to 12% gain in a way in just a couple weeks. And I expect that we'll continue to see that as more businesses get open. So a percentage of these unemployment claims that you saw were, you know, forced unemployment by closures. What the question will become for all of us now is how much of that lingers as we reopen. And as we have talked with employers over the last couple of weeks in the regional economy, you know, you can think about Erie County's economy being about 1/3%. And I would say Erie, Ottawa, Huron, we're very interconnected. That's something to keep in mind. An unemployment claim is filed based on your county of residence. And every day, about 50% of a county's residents are leaving for work, and about 50% of workers are coming in from another county. So the reason I have stats for all of our neighbors up here is that our success all depends on one another. So our regional economy, you can think about 1/3 falling in the tourism sector, so entertainment, food and beverage, hotels. Seeing more openings, expecting more news next week, fingers crossed. The success there will depend on consumer confidence, but we have a lot of good resources like Lake Erie Shores and Islands and others, our chambers of commerce, who will help promote our region as a safe place to visit and to do business. And you can think of our economy also residing in about 1/3% manufacturing. So kind of a diverse makeup there, but we have a lot of automotive in our region. We have a lot of machinery and equipment manufacturing in our region. We're getting reports back from automotive suppliers that they have dates set for June and August to be back to full capacity. Again, crossing our fingers for continued consumer confidence in things like purchasing vehicles. That'll be important to their success, but pleased to see some dates there. We also have a lot of food processing and other equipment processing in our manufacturing sector that for the most part did not shut down and for the most part continue to be very healthy. And then you can think the remainder of our economy, sort of everything else from professional services to utilities, agriculture, and more. Again, I think all headed back to the office generally, starting to resume some normalcy of everyday life. And we're optimistic that that will continue in the near future. So what we wanted to close with today, and Sarah, you could click to the next slide for me, is sort of as you think about the next horizon, just keep in mind what your economic development offices and your partners are here to do for you. We at ECADEC like to use the phrase that we help employers start, stay, and grow in our community. When the pandemic hit and this webinar series and our email briefings began, that was all. It always is about getting you the information, the resources, the connections that you need to have success in your business and our economy. That will continue. It will look a little bit different, hopefully, as a little bit more normalcy returns to our lives and to our businesses. So we wanted to leave you with some reminders about good reasons to think about reaching out to people. One being you want to get connected. So we've had a lot of different people, offices, officials on this webinar series. It's a good example of why you might reach out to an economic development office or a chamber of commerce or a visitors bureau. It's important to get insight from peers and from support organizations in your market. Second would be if you have questions. So this is sort of a lifetime outlet for your questions and a lot of changing information, but we are always here to help address regulatory issues, other questions, whether that's utilities or BWC or anything else, and that's always been a core part of our identity as an organization. A third is you need talent support. So Amber and Tina spoke with a lot of resources related to Ohio Means Jobs. Sarah started the presentation about the new Tech Cred grant. We can help with data and information related to salary surveys. So just a lot of connections and information there. Talent's always going to be a key ingredient for business success. You're looking for growth strategies. So Sarah has done some earlier presentations throughout this webinar series about our RISE program. The economy has changed, consumer preferences have changed. So we're still working with a lot of employers on a one-on-one basis for sort of stress testing with their business, new ideas for revenue. I would say just between a network and some of our staff and who we work with, we're always here as an outlet for idea sharing and strategy development. And then finally, and this is sort of the bread and butter of economic development support, there are employers who, this pandemic hurt many, but there are several who are coming out winners as well, maybe in the e-commerce space, maybe in other ways. If your company is growing, you need additional space, or you're considering making a major expenditure, those are definitely times to be reaching out to an economic development office for possible support. So what I included there on the right-hand side is contact information for offices in the region. You generally have a county level economic development organization and others. And then as we think about how we continue to support you in the future, we think the frequency of these webinars, knock on wood, can sort of fall by the wayside. We know that you have to focus now on your business and operations. So we want to be cognizant of how we're best using your time. That said, we thought that our sort of next and maybe final session for at least the time being, we thought would benefit from some peer-to-peer connection and more direct participation. We love you all joining us and listening to us, but we want to hear from you about what you need for the future, about what questions you have lingering, and really how everyone can be more successful in our community. So we would like to set up our next meeting as more of a true meeting style format, of course, virtually, safety first, right? Abby in the health department. So their team will be on hand as well, and we will try to organize you based on industry to get any specific questions answered. But a poll came up on your screen, and we'd love to know what date would be best for you and what time slot would be best for you. Oh, I'm just noticing, Sarah, I'm not sure if this is true on your screen as well, but yeah, okay, yep, June 5th or June 12th, perfect. So we're looking at either of the next 2 Fridays to organize that. Let us know your preference. We wanna know what works best for you. So with that, I will pause and see if we have any more questions for any of our panelists today. And anything else we can do for the team that's on the call. We have a couple of things being chatted in. Great. Sarah has sent in some more resources related to signage, continued chat of information about the OMJ resources. And unless there's anything else for the day, we just want to thank you for your time. We'll certainly follow up with more information and hope everyone stays healthy, safe, happy, and enjoying this good weather that's finally graced us with its presence. Very good. We'll stick with noon and the 12th for our next session together, and we look forward to hearing more from you during that event. Look for an email. Thanks, everybody.